Welcome back to Kobe MC Photography's channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this. For all my subscribers and members, thank you very much for the support over the years. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again so much. It means everything. It means everything. Uh, okay, so this is going to be my first, I guess, in a series. Maybe I'll make it a series of how did I do that? So I've posted a photo across the internet on social media channels and all that fun stuff in regards to the last partial lunar eclipse we recently had. Uh, on Flickr, it made it to Explore. Woohoo! Um, yeah, so I've gotten a lot of questions in regards to how did I create this image. So that's what we're going to look at today. The camera settings, what settings did I use to capture the actual images, everything behind the scenes, what did I go through in order to piece it all together and figure it all out, and then the post-processing afterwards to combine all the different images and composite everything to basically make this final image. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera settings. So initially my idea was, if you pay attention to where the autofocus points are here, my initial intention was to shoot it so the moon would start at this corner here at the lower left, and as it traveled across, that would be the second exposure, and then say the third exposure, and then the fourth exposure somewhere around here. But what was happening, so if we look at this autofocus array as, say the moon size in the view, you'll see it's getting cut off, right? So initially it would have been around there. It's not showing the extra square there, but it would be somewhere around here, and then up one, up another one, up another one, that kind of thing, right? But what I was running into, I had initially set it for 3-minute intervals. So what was happening is the moon would be there, and then it would be there, and then it would be out of frame, right? So I dropped that down to 2 minutes, and initially I was thinking of just doing it like this, so it would just be a linear movement. But what I realized is there's no point in doing that. I don't have to do that because I'm going to be compositing all these images anyways, right, as layers. So I just shot wherever the moon was, but I did have to readjust every once in a while to get the moon to go back here so that I wouldn't lose it during the interval shooting itself. So the settings that I actually used here was a 12-second timer, just to make sure that there was absolutely no movement whatsoever from the mirror flipping up or from the tripod or anything, and using 2-minute interval, as you can see there, and 4 shots per interval. So this is what the moon really looked like in the field of view. And there were some clouds, so as you can see, my trajectory idea was working. And then I would have to reset, go again, right? And prior to this, interval composite, I realized was not going to work. And there are some test shots in here as well. See, for here, I didn't have to get it perfect because I'm going to be layering them anyways. This is what interval composite looked like, and this is when I realized, yeah, that's not going to work. Just the interval was too far off, and seeing as the way it layers the images together, I had it in average composite, so yeah, it just was not going to look right compared to taking individual shots like so, and then layering these shots over and over and over again, right? And yeah, so as you can see, that's the way the interval worked. And then these were some more test shots that I had taken just to get the base parameters. And as you can see, yeah, shutter speed, everything did change a little bit. I was in manual mode. let's get on to how I did the post-processing for the images. So the first thing I did after editing all the images in DxO, so editing the raw images, was I imported all the various images as separate layers into Chasey's Draw IES, which is a program that I use regularly. Um, and then what I did from here, so these are all, it's the history of everything. So import layer, all the layer. So these are all the separate images. And then from there, I started sorting through the different layers. All right, so you got that image, and then I changed the orders. You can't see them right now, so we'll skip ahead here. Then I started changing the transparency. So just removing this black background here, right? Changing each one of the transparencies. So another moon would show up, then another moon, and I just changed the orders here. Now, just to give you some clarity, so this is what it looks like with the layers panel, right? So each one of these, I removed all the background, all the black, and I left this one as is, right, for the meantime. Then what I did was I copied uh, varying pixels of the black from this image, and I created that as the background color, and then I added the transparency to this black sky, right? Yeah, so let's just continue here. So, just did more of that, and as you can see, there's more images showing up over here. Sorry, I forgot to mention, I initially set the background layer at, let's see, what size was that? It was pretty big. About 12,000 by 9,290. Just to make sure I had enough space to get all the various moons going across the screen, right? So I had to make sure that the canvas was large enough to be able to fulfill that. And I'll just skip down a few here. So here's another transparency fill. And as you can see, there's more moons showing up now. Right? Like another one. Another one. Oh, there's just moons all over the place, right? There's too many. Too many all bundled up together. All right. So from there, and then let's see, filling paint, which one? Yeah, so that's after I created the background to be the same shade as the sky was in the original images. So then I started moving the layers around so I could sort through and find the right one to start with. And as you can see, I'm just moving all these moons all over the place. And then I found the original down here. And then I moved the next one into place. And then I moved the next one. And so on. And so on. And then what I did here was there was a halo coming off of this shot of the moon. So obviously I can't have that in front of this moon, right? So I had to change the orders. Let's just see here. Okay, there we go. So now this is behind here, so it looks natural, right? In regards to the sequence, because obviously the sequence is not natural, so to speak, right? And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just kept moving everything around, changing the orders. Yeah, so this one here, well, let me go back one. Yeah. So I noticed this, I had put this one a little on the high, just a tad bit too high, right? So I changed it back with this one here. Yeah, just lowered it down slightly so that it kept that same trajectory. And I just basically did more of the same, just picking each and every single one of these moons to just get them all the way across. Don't worry about this one here. We'll get to that. And I just moved one after another, changed the orders again. There we go. And I did this by order of the image numbers, right? Now, you'll notice that there are some skipped numbers, and that is on purpose. The reason being is I didn't want to have a gazillion images like the very first one in the lower left, right? I didn't want to have a bunch of very similar looking images. I wasn't looking for a minuscule adjustment. I wanted to show the actual sequence within that field of view of the canvas that I set, right? So I did have to skip some of the images that I did capture. It still creates the exact same final image that I was looking for without, having what would appear to be repetitive shots of the moon, right? And yeah, so I just kept going. As you can see, there was a lot of moving layers and making adjustments to which layer is in front of another layer. But this is basically what the end result turned into. Then at the very, very end, just did the transparency, and then I deleted this one here. Right, so this is what came out of each one of these single images. Uh, yeah, that's pretty much how I did this entire thing.
Just to add a little bit of extra clarification, so after compositing all the moon images, what I then did was resize the entire final image back to the original pixel dimensions that would have come out of the Pentax K3 Mark III. So 6016 by, oh, what is it, like 42 something something. Yeah. So that is basically how I went about shooting that whole moon sequence from start to finish, everything that I did. It's very simple. You just need to take time because it takes time, pay attention to the time itself because there's always a maximum, effect time window. And if you do miss that window, then the image just won't work because you won't capture that last moment, right? So that whole partial eclipse where the whole top of the moon is kind of missing, right? Like, cookies. So just to have a last look at exactly how all of this came together, let's just take a look. And so these are the individual images. There is one extra one I didn't end up using because I just didn't have enough space within here, and the moon was already small enough after resizing. So each one of these individual images with the whole procedure that I went through that I showed turned into this final image here. I'll just open this up, and there you go. This is what the final image looked like. No, it's honestly, it's just something I've always wanted to do, just capture that whole sequence. I've seen a lot of people do that with solar eclipses, and I've never done something like this before, so I figured I would give this a shot, and it worked out really well. This is fun. So the next time, whenever there's an eclipse, I'm going to be trying to do the same thing all over again. Just something outside my regular comfort zone, and yeah, the result was pretty good. So yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you like the video, leave a like, all that fun stuff. I've got information in the description if you want to support the channel further. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out.